So yeah, welcome back. So box 12, the zeal to thrive keeps war away. I'll just read the first few sentences. It will give general idea of what I was discussing majorly in that section and what this particular box is about. So I read, I strongly believe Nigerians generally are opposed to war. It's a kind of unwritten code or convention driven by our love of life, a positive trait in my view. You know, people who have no value, who attach no value to life, like suicide bombers, you know, those kind of people, psychopaths generally, murderers, killers, you know, those kind of people have no respect for life, which is a negative thing. So the love of life, a positive trait in my view, like I said, is what I believe has kept civil unrest, and war away in Nigeria. Our general love of life, which is a good thing, allows us to continue to be what's the word I want now? It has allowed us to continue to, you know, like stretch our endurance threshold, you know, stretch it, because we love life, we want peace, we will do what we can do to sustain peace. It's a good thing. We love life, and as long as the average Nigerian is left to hustle, he's often content with his lot or his meager existence. The desire to live, flourish, and thrive is so strong, even the political class, greedy as it is, abhors a war. The sociopathic greed for the acquisition of undeserved material wealth, free stealing, borrowing Fela's word or Fela's phrase, is clearly a principal motivation for wanting to maintain peace, though they never hesitate in the use of violence to retain themselves in power. So that's what I just shared, and then there are like 3 more sentences in that box. That's the core gist of box 12. Now I move to box 13 and then wrap this up. Move to box 13 and wrap this up. So box 13, practical scenario. This is chapter 7 as well. Chapter 7 is the longest chapter of the book. So in practical scenario, I was just trying to pose it, or trying to argue against the Lone Star presidency. It's another election cycle, and you can already see how people again are pushing for a lone star, a lone presidency, like it takes one person to govern a country. No. This is something I've noticed that Nigerians don't seem to get. It's not a man that runs a country. It's not a single person that runs a country. One person can't run a country, especially one with an humongous population like Nigeria is. Maybe if it were if we were a population of 2 million, 5 million, less than 10 million or less than 15, yeah, maybe one man can do it. But no one man, the truth is, no one person is able to govern a nation. It's a political party that does that. I was still explaining this some few days ago in a group. A strong political party is which is membered and led and membered with people of like mind that are able to bring about change, exponential change in a country. Not one man. I've heard people say to people, don't vote party, vote individual. But that's upside down politics. Okay, so you vote one man in one party. That party is relatively weak in that it doesn't have members in the House of Senate, in NAS, and it doesn't have, maybe it has one or two governors or no governors. So how is the president going to be able to run the country when it doesn't have a support team? Because it can only have a support team when members of his, when candidates from his party occupy a significant number of positions of authority in the country, and then they all work together. The concerted effort, they're able to push their policy. Politics is about policy. It's about writing policies and executing these policies. It's not about a lone star or one man, or it's not about one person, is what I'm trying to say here. I hope I'm clear. So that practical scenario in box 13 was just trying to explain why somebody just can't come from their home and say they want to head out to Aso Rock and succeed. They won't succeed, they would fail. They will fail. Those who think it's, those who think this unrealistic posit of one man just going to Aso Rock and will succeed. Those who think like this don't understand what politics is about, and don't even understand what politicking is. Box 14, and then we can wrap this up. Is humanity asleep? What does the audience think? What does my listener think? Do you think humanity is asleep? Do you think we're on a slippery slope? Do things appear to you like they're totally fucked? Because it seems like that to me, at least to people who are observant, to keen observers. Maybe I should read that. Let me read. I can't. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find that particular content. Oops. Read it as it will make sense more than. I'll just read the first sentence or something that I've got in box 13, box 14. I'm almost there. One more box and we can wrap this up. We can call this a wrap. So, okay, I wanted to read Dunning-Kruger, but it's okay. Or maybe I'll come back and read it if there is time. If I'm still within the range that I want. Uh-oh. I can't find, I can't seem to find it. So let me just go on to chapter 15. Sorry, box 15. Which is on page, I'll read that and then that's it. Box 15, I titled, or is captioned, "The Poor Pay Taxes." Let's read. There is this general notion jointly peddled by the ruling elite and the Nigerian pseudo-intellectual class that the proletariat avoid taxation. The former does it to cover up its culture of theft and to also excuse away its inability to respond to citizen need. The latter, on its part, does it because they lack awareness and in their arrogance ignore the input of the informal sector to Nigeria's GDP. They conveniently ignore the varied methods employed by governments at state and local levels to tax the informal sector. When I was, this box actually was motivated by a particular thread on Twitter back in 2019, I think. There was this debate that was going on Twitter, and they said there about the poor not paying taxes, that Nigerians don't like to pay tax, especially the poor, which is false. And of course, it's the bourgeoisie who were pushing these narratives, you know, the cronies of the ruling elite and those who lack self-awareness, those who think they know, Dunning-Kruger effect, those who suffer from Dunning-Kruger effect. They say the poor don't pay tax. I disagree. It's actually impossible. What actually happens in this country is that we get double taxed. We get to pay taxes in same tax in different places all the time, and the poor really do pay taxes. You try, like I argued, you try to open up a corner shop in any part of Nigeria, or maybe Lagos especially, and see what would happen. Whether you won't have people from different local governments, different Lagos state governmental agencies, whether they won't sweep in on you, slamming all manner of forms and bills, and just generally bill you and tax you. And some people want to argue that people don't pay tax. The actual question should be, if the bourgeoisie, that's the pseudo intellectuals, the selfish elite, we have more selfish elite in Nigeria than we have enlightened elite. The question they fail to ask themselves is the situation they fail to address, and I don't know why, is to make demands on government, demand transparency and accountability. The taxes we pay, even if we say not everybody pays taxes, the one we pay, what's been done with it? What happens to it? Because if the taxes we pay are judiciously used, I believe that Nigeria will be a much better place to live, that there will be better infrastructure and socioeconomic infrastructure will be available if the taxes we pay are actually channeled and funneled into judicious use. That's what I discussed basically in box 15. That's what I shared and discussed in box 15. So like I was saying, it was when I was reading all of these comments of the bourgeoisie on Twitter, I thought, hell no, this is not correct. And I was just in the thick of collecting, writing my book at that time. So I thought, no way, I've got to inject this into my book, that the poor actually pay taxes. So I hope you've enjoyed my presentation, that you found value in the things that I've said. If you have, please share the content, like the content as well. Leave me a comment. I like to engage people in meaningful conversations. Drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button when you do that, so that every time that we upload new content, you can be notified. What you can do, however, to make us at LTM really happy is to actually buy my book. I believe it's worthy of your time and your money. Until I come your way next time, it's Yetunde Olokun saying, Iriel.